Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to be talking about the fact that HEX has just entered the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Have we been here before? Yes. It feels just like back then. Okay. And if you watched this video I made just less than a week ago, May 4th, right, we were talking about market cap and we pretty much went over a few ideas like what if HEX were to capture the percentage of Ethereum's market cap that it captured when it did hit top 5 cryptocurrency, because HEX was a top 5 cryptocurrency at its highest point in the rankings back in, I believe it was the 1.5 penny peak, right, of like late October, November 1st of 2020. And so we did some math here, right, and we see that for it to capture 11.6% of Ethereum's current market cap, which it did back then, it would correspond to about a $56 billion market cap, which is a little over 2x away. We did the math on it off the stream, and that would put HEX at around, top 6, top 7, and be 10 pennies. So it would be, a sort of a 2x from here. But look at this. HEX is now a top 10 cryptocurrency, rightfully where it belongs. If not, I'd be happy if we flipped all of these crap coins, Bcash, and all of these, right? I would love to see HEX be a top 3 cryptocurrency at least, okay? So we've been printing all-time highs pretty much every day for the past 13 days, right? We're up 3.5x in 13 days. If you haven't checked out the stream Maddie had yesterday, I was on that for a minute with some of the HEX community, which is pretty fun. I was on there for about 3 hours. I talk here and there, not too much because it was kind of a crowded stream. So I'll make an effort in the future to make less crowded live streams just so everyone can kind of get their ideas across and have a higher signal to noise ratio, right? But yeah, with that said, check that out if you haven't already. But we did catch 4 pennies live on that stream. It's pretty funny, pretty cool, because we caught 3 pennies live on our stream back less than a week ago. And now we seem to be moving 1 penny at a time, which is phenomenal. This is a rally for the books. Okay, could we keep going? Yes. Could we turn back at any moment? Yes. We've been looking at our 10-day moving average, but let's be real. It didn't really wick down to it here. Like, it came really close. Right here was a little farther away. So maybe if we start looking at an even shorter moving average, it might hold some significance. Let's actually look at a line chart real quick to see maybe not, right? So again, these short-term moving averages, we can follow them. We can choose to play around with it. Like, for example, maybe the 8-day moving average is a better fit because technically it held it here, right, along this rally that we've been talking about, and technically we've been holding it here, and right now it's at about the 3.14 penny region, moving up every single day super fast because these are shorter term moving averages. Right, so how long did it take to get from, let's say, 2.18 May 6th to where we are now? So 4 days, and this moving average moved up a whole penny. So in the next 4 days, this moving average could be, if we hold this 4.5 plus penny region, then we could be looking at 4, 5, 6 pennies per HEX, and this moving average moving up with it. So definitely heated. I do want to keep you updated with our favorite chart, the regression rainbow, and we blasted right through the orange curve. Right, we blasted right through our orange exponential regression curve. And we're coming up to yellow pretty quickly. Yellow is at around the 5.5 or 6 penny region or so. If we were to reach it, let's say, today, tomorrow, in the next few days, it doesn't seem unlikely just because we're pretty much just going vertical at this point, right? So it's hard to stop this kind of momentum. And let's just look at some past data, okay? Let's look at when we crossed the orange in the past, what happened afterwards. So back here, we crossed the orange. We went straight to the green regression curve. Over here, I guess we dipped beneath the orange once we came back above it. Again, we consolidated around yellow for a bit, but then from there, we're straight to pink, okay? Back down here, we almost reached the orange. Perhaps if you count wicks, maybe we did reach orange. This data doesn't count wicks, but it's close enough to where, let's say, sure, we reached at or near the orange level, and what happened from there once we bounced above it, again, not perfect not a perfect bounce here, but close. Then we went straight to the green, more or less. So what happened over here? Once we broke above it, straight to the yellow, and here we are now. So in the past, once we've broken the orange from beneath or bounced above it, more or less we've gone to the green band, pink band, green band. Like, I don't know if you want to count this consolidation phase, right? You can technically just consider this one entire move. So green band, pink band, green band, yellow band. If you take a sort of average of these bands, you're looking at green, right? You're looking at a green band, and potentially in between green and blue. So that is the case for saying, you know what, last time we blasted through orange, it kept going for a while. And so if we were to reach green, this green regression curve, then that would correspond to 10 pennies. A lot of people have that as a target in mind, 10 penny hex. In between that and blue would be anywhere from 10 to 20 cent hex. So things are moving very, very quickly. And again, we've talked about past fractals where maybe we see consolidation around yellow before popping off some bands. But you know what? Maybe not. Just based on the fact that we've blasted right through this orange curve, maybe the fractal plays out a bit differently. Maybe we actually reach yellow and consolidate around yellow for a minute. Instead of reaching pink, maybe the way the diminishing returns and whatnot play out on this fractal is maybe we don't reach the pink band. Maybe we do consolidate around yellow, but maybe we reach the purple band. So again, this is all just speculation, never financial advice, right? Do your own research, your generic disclaimer for this video. But I do think that we do have a lot of momentum currently in the HEX market, especially with certain fundamentals lining up with the technicals. This pulse launch coming up is becoming a supply sink for HEX. The liquidity over on Uniswap, right? V3 changes things a little bit. So let's go ahead and actually look at our liquidity. I did want to point that out because I kind of updated the chart a bit. I'm trying to make this a little more friendly to maybe include on the website at some point. Finding it a little difficult to have, just a sheet without graphs. So maybe these graphs help, but we'll see. But what we have here, it's a little bit messy, right? It used to be much, much cleaner. But Uniswap V3 kind of changed things because on Uniswap V2, it was super clean. We had symmetrical liquidity, but on Uniswap V3, it's not necessarily symmetrical. So you actually have, asymmetry. For example, on the HEX USDC pair, notice how you have $1 million or $1.167 million here in HEX sitting in the pool, whereas you only have about $852,000 of USDC sitting in the pool. Whereas in Uniswap V2, you need to provide identical dollar-denominated values of liquidity to either side. On V3, you can do asymmetrical liquidity, and so you can see that on the HEX ETH pair, for example, you have about $260,000 worth of Ether and only about $78,000 worth of HEX, which gives you a asymmetrical bid-ask ratio, whereas this was symmetrical in the past. Now we have a little more on one side than the other side, but more or less symmetrical, right? More or less. A very small difference of about, like 130 grand relative to, 7.8 million. What is that? Just some quick math, like 2% difference. So effectively symmetrical, right? However, nonetheless, we updated it and we see that if $1 HEX is inevitable, how much ROI left do we have? Let's update our price real quick before we reach $1. If it's inevitable, well, about 21 to 22x is the remaining ROI you have left to capture on the way to $1. And you can see that it would take $28.8 million of net buy pressure. I should relabel this net buy pressure as opposed to input, but let's just leave it like this for now. So that would take about $29 million of net buy pressure to push the price to $1. And if we were to reach $2.01, it would take $44 million, right? So here you can see kind of the distribution of liquidity, the majority being on V2 HEX USDC pair, second major pairing V2 as well, HEX ETH pair, and then HEX USDC on V3, and finally the smallest liquidity pool of HEX is the HEX Ether pair on Uniswap V3. Okay, so we've entered top 10 cryptocurrencies. Boom. We are in our rightful regime, in our rightful space, right? Top 10. Can we make it to top 5 next? I mean, we have in the past, so why not? What would that put it at now? Well, top 5, we would just need to flip Doge. So let's say 65 billion divided by 26 billion. So what is that, like a 2.5x from here? 12 penny hex. So an 11 or 12 penny hex would put us in top 5. It doesn't seem too far away now, does it? It used to back here when that was a 7x away, but now that we 3x'd and we only need a 2.5x to reach top 5, it's seeming more likely, even more, because take a look at, you know, if we do pass Doge, well, Ripple isn't that far away. We could easily, you know, it's only a 10% move or so, 11 or 12% move away after we flip Dogecoin to actually flip Ripple, assuming these prices stay more or less the same. And again, like these entire market caps rise, so the whole tide rises, then you might be seeing higher valuations, because all of these calculations that I'm making are relative to the current, I guess the current crypto ecosystem, the current prices and market caps across these coins. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on these markets. I was gonna call this video HEX 5 pennies. Now what, right? Like we're having fun with this series where it's like the first one was 2 penny hex. Now what? Then the next one was 3 penny hex. Now what? I think yesterday we dropped 4 penny hex. Now what? So it seems a little bit soon, even though we did technically wake up to 5.1 pennies on the Ether pair on V2. I think it's slightly premature, and again, it just seemed like we just made a video on that yesterday in that series. So let's actually wait till we decisively close above it to make a video like that. I think it'd be much more significant, right? And it's significant that we did reach top 10 cryptos, which is why I'm labeling this video this, because it is significant, right? Assuming, well, not assuming, but despite all of these other coin ranking sites not properly listing HEX where it needs to be, we know the truth, right? We know that this is the actual supply. This is the actual price. There is real liquidity on the Uniswap pairs, and so this is the correct ranking. Like, regardless of what other ranking sites say, if you know, you know. Okay, so we are officially the top 10 cryptocurrency in this bull market. Absolutely amazing. Again, this is where we are on our regression rainbows. You can check this out real time on lookintohex.com, so go ahead and check that out. And I guess just a final update, because I found this interesting, was this HEX Ether ROI from launch performance index. So again, this is just your scaled to fit HEX ROI, ETH ROI from respective launch dates, and you can see that HEX has been overperforming Ether in both appreciation and in speed. And so we're at 87x from launch price right now. Amazing. And when you divide the HEX ROI by the ETH ROI, you essentially map this green curve to this line here, right? And so you see kind of whether HEX was underperforming, which this underperformance region corresponds to this region right here. This overperformance region corresponds to over here when HEX was overperforming. So I hope that makes sense. And again, the highest level of overperformance we've reached on this chart is 23.5x. And currently we are sitting at around 18.47x. So back here, way long ago, I remember we were making videos. I'm actually going to link a card here right now. Check that out. Proof in the pudding. I made a real video, timestamp and everything. You can check that out. That we were talking about this way back here, that, you know, what price would HEX be if we reached this level of 23.5x on this index. We talked about it. I can't remember exactly back then what the projections were. We can take a look at that at some point in the future and compare. But you know, 23.5x, well, it's seeming much more likely now. We did speculate that maybe, you know, what would the price look like if we reached that level of overvaluation. Again, we were talking about it back here, and we were quickly approaching it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see the 23.5x overvaluation, which from here would be only like what would it be? I always have to do all this math here on stream. Okay, 23.5 or 18.5 roughly. Just a quick equation. 1.27 times where we are now. So it would be about a 6 penny hex, right? And we would be reaching this level over here. And again, 6 penny hex has been a nice target because it's 2x our bull flag target of 3 pennies, which we broke. And we've talked about, we might be seeing our technical target be smashed and rather overperform that by about 2x or so, because we've done that in the past. So this 6 penny region is seeming to converge nicely with not only that, but obviously our regression rainbow, which 6 penny hex is about the yellow curve. So still bullish. It's hard to trade against momentum. Not trade, right? But it's hard to bet against momentum, and so I won't. I'm not going to bet against momentum here. And I do think that 6 penny hex, we could be seeing that literally within the next few days. But obviously we are heated. We've just been going straight up. But with the fundamentals and the technicals lining up and the current bull market environment, it's hard to see anything more than these wicks that we've been seeing. And then supply drying up on top of that. There are less than 200 million coins available on market. Things are looking good, guys. Okay. So with that said, I appreciate you watching. We blasted past 1,500 subscribers recently, so appreciate that a ton. Let's get to 1,600 subscribers, and leave a thumbs up on the video if you enjoy this kind of hybrid technical quantitative analysis. Again, be subscribed by now, especially if you've watched this far, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.